Today we're going to be talking about surface area. We have an example about surface area here with a 3D cylinder. And so a 3D cylinder makes up a rectangle and two circles at either end. And we are given the situation that our rectangle is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. So we want to find out what surface area is. So what do you think that surface area is?
The area of the shapes in a 3D shape?
Right, so surface area is the area of the shape's surfaces. And so when we're talking about things like a cube, it is the area of all of the faces of that cube, and then there is 4, 5, and 6 shapes in this. In this situation, there are actually 3 shapes that we're dealing with. So what are the 3 shapes that are happening here?
2 circles and 1 rectangle.
So we have, right, a rectangle and then 2 circles. And so the rectangle is the easiest thing, so we're going to start with that. What is the formula for the area of our rectangles?
Length times width.
Perfect. Now, what is length and width here? What are we multiplying together?
8.5 times 11.
All right, perfect. Now, go ahead and get out a calculator and make sure that you are multiplying these two things together. And I'm going to do that too and verify.
I got 93.5.
93.5, perfect. Okay, so that is the area of the rectangle portion of our cylinder here. Okay, so 93.5 inches and squared, because we're still dealing with area rather than something like volume being cubed. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our circles, and here's the hard part of this situation is if we're dealing with the around of our circle, we kind of have to look here and see which side is our around side. So here's a long edge and here's a shorter edge in comparison. So if we were looking at long versus short, what's our shorter side?
8.5.
8.5, right. So 8.5 is our around our circle, which is our circumference. So we're going to want to say, okay, so what's the formula for circumference?
2 pi r.
2 pi r, perfect. So we know that 8.5 is our circumference, is our C, and we know that we have to get 2 pi r over here. So we are actually going to be dividing by something to find r, because in our area formula we're going to need pi r squared. So we need to find r. So what things are we going to divide by to get r by itself?
2 and pi.
2 and pi, and we divide that on this side as well. Okay, so we're going to do that in our calculators. We're going to do 8.5 divided by 2 divided by 3.14. And we're going to get a very, very, very long number, which we are going to save that number into our calculator until we get an answer that we can round. So from the number that we just got, which is 1.35350, we're going to hit that square button.
The x2?
Yep, the one with the x and then the 2. Okay. And then we are going to times it by pi again. By what does pi stand for again?
3.14.
3.14, right. So use 3.14. And then we are going to round our area to the nearest 10th place, the same as our area of our rectangle. And now, before we talk about this answer, we have to talk about the fact that we found the area for one circle initially. So go ahead, before we even take that answer, go ahead and times that by 2. And we are going to get the area of both of our circles. And that is going to be...
I got 11.5.
Correct, 11.5. Okay, so now we're going to take our 93.5 and we're going to add it to our 11.5. Add that up and tell me what you get.
105.
Perfect, 105. And that's just 105, no decimals are needed, and that is going to be in what units?
Inches squared.
Absolutely perfect.